Training Camp Central is brought to you by Toyota.
Hello again, everybody. Jeff Jonagak with you on ChicagoBears.com, the play-by-play announcer of the Chicago Bears on News Radio 780 and 105.9 FM WVM, with the Hall of Fame coach John Madden, kind enough to join us after a day in the heat. And you were up in Green Bay earlier in the day. It's still hot up there. All that hot air coming from Green Bay down to Chicago, right?
Right, it was real hot up there. And the thing in Green Bay, there was no shade.
No.
I mean, at least here at the Bears camp, there was some shade.
Nowhere to hide. You're here with the commissioner, and Goodell was speaking not only to the fans today, but with coaches, players, and so forth. And you've had a role the last couple of years as a special advisor for Commissioner. How have you enjoyed it, and has it come into play at any time?
I've really enjoyed it, and because it's something that, you know, I really took so much from football. I mean, football gave me everything, and it was, you know, such a big part of my life that when I retired, I figured I just don't want to stop. You know, I want to keep going. So I contacted them, and I said that, you know, anything that you would have for me, I'd like to do it. And the key thing is I don't want any money, so that'll usually get you. That'll usually get you going. But no, that really wasn't. I mean, it wasn't that. Like I said, I just wanted to give back. So I started, and I'm the chairman of a coaches subcommittee to the competition committee. So we do a lot of rule stuff and that. And then I'm a co-chair with Ronnie Lott of a safety panel, and that's kind of doing the same thing. I mean, all I really want to do is football on the field, you know, the way it's played, and make it as safe as it can be and as great a game as it can be. I'm not into the, you know, the negotiating with Players Association. I'm not into discipline. I'm not into those things. I just, you know, I'm kind of a, you know, I'm for the coaches and I'm for the players.
You got the game in mind.
Right. Well, the game. That's it. And with you know, with the guys that play it and the guys that coach it, and just making it right for them and the best that it can be for them.
Well, one thing about wanting to stay in it, once it's in the blood for a lifetime. I was talking to an old scout today, and every day he wakes up, still at the age of 73, wants to get out there and coach or wants to go out there and scout a football player. It doesn't matter if it's Pee-wee or pro.
No, that's right. I mean, and that doesn't go away. And, you know, there's some part of you that really doesn't want it to go away. I mean, why spend all your life, and it was all my life and my passion and my being, and then just boom, just stop, just fall off. I mean, I think I have something I can give back, and if I do, I want to give it back.
The health and safety area where you're focusing some of your attention, that's the hot button topic right now. I hear from, you know, grade school moms, they don't want their kids playing football anymore because of the concussion publicity going out there and throughout all sports, but primarily the National Football League. And as you look at it, can you help? Can you help alleviate the concerns of all parties involved?
Yeah, I mean, we better help, or, you know, we are gonna lose those kids, and more importantly, right now we're gonna lose the parents who don't, you know, want their kids to play, and we just have to make it safe. I mean, I hear all that talk, and it just upsets the hell out of me about, you know, put skirts on them, and the game's not as tough. Believe me, the game is as tough or tougher than it's ever been. And you watch film, you just watch the hits and the way they play. We have not softened up the game. Now, saying that, how can we keep the game what it is and make it safe? Now, part of it is with equipment. I mean, I think we can still do things not only with the helmet, but the fitting of the helmet, with the face mask, the culture of not using the head, you know, I mean, using shoulders and arms, and, you know, changing some of the cultures. And then I think if we do at this level, it trickles down to the college and then to the high schools, and then
some of it is on the players too, you know, like you said, you know, the proper form, not to use the crown of your helmet. Sometimes, you know, it's the heat of the moment, you can't help it.
A lot of it is the players, and that's what the rules do. I mean, you know, you can take the rules and change that and just get the helmet to helmet, you know, leading with your head, just get that out, just change that culture. And then if we get that, then we can work on the equipment and the safest equipment and just these work rules. You know, one of the guys, when I heard about him, just practicing once a day in training camp and walk through and you know, I said, this
a
is
day
ridiculous.
off every 4 days.
A day off, yeah.
Can you imagine back in the day?
Yeah, no, this is ridiculous. And now I see it work, and I talk to coaches, and I go around, and it works. And you know, it's the right thing to do. And I mean, I go all the way back in football where we used to not allow water on the field. You know, and we
as insane as that is.
Yeah, it's insane. And I think we're going to look. You know, I mean, I know when I coached, we were in training camp for 2 months, and every practice was a padded practice, and we had 2-a-days every day. And that was a norm. You know, we're doing it like everyone else does. You know, that's what you're supposed to do.
The other part
now
of it,
they throw you in jail.
Well, my broadcast partner, Tom Thayer, a part of that 85 Bears offensive line, which you know so well, he played every snap of every preseason game, and even though Ditka would want him to, he convinced him to keep him in the game because he didn't want somebody else going in there taking his job. That mentality is way, way gone, and that's just in 1980. So that whole concept of playing every snap in the preseason is foreign now.
Yeah, and you know, and we have to watch that too, of playing every snap and, you know, playing through injuries where it's not necessarily a badge of courage. I mean, one of the things that, you know, that I talked to the commissioner about and I worry a little about is that we have everyone's playing a Thursday night game now.
Yeah.
So that Sunday to Thursday. And, you know, maybe it's okay early in the season, but, you know, later in the season and, you know, what if a player gets concussed on Sunday? Is he going to be ready to go on Thursday night? I mean, just these are questions, and that's where you kind of have to stay ahead of the curve in this safety stuff, that we don't let the dish run away with the spoon, that we keep things under control and have protocols for all these things. But you worry, you know, about the Tom Thayers that, you know, play on Sunday and get, you know, that injury, whatever it is, and a guy that wouldn't come out of a preseason game's not going to miss a Thursday night game no matter what happens to him on Sunday.
That being said, the 18-game season keeps being talked about, and today some of the players on the Bears were asked about it, and dead set against the idea.
Yeah, I'm dead set against it too. We don't need more games, and we do need as much preseason as we can get. And I know what the argument is. It's not that fans don't like preseason; they don't like paying full price for it. But you need games to develop players. You know, like the question was just asked. You know, do you need 4 preseason games? Well, depends on who you're talking about. You know, I mean, a young offensive lineman, yes, he probably needs 6 or 8. Yeah. You know, a young quarterback, he needs 3 years of it. You know, I mean, the defensive back, the safety, the linebacker calls. I mean, they need a lot of reps. They got to get out there and do it. So then you get the veteran running back. Does he need 4 preseason? Heck, no, he doesn't. But don't play him then. Right. Play other guys that do need it. And you know, we got 90 guys now, and so deciding on who plays is an easy thing. And if you really look at it, the way preseason is, I didn't mean to go on this long on this, but if you look at the preseason now, most of the veteran players don't play 1 or 4, and they play 2 and 3. So they're, in reality, the players that play most of the football are only playing 2 preseason games.
Lastly, you always enjoyed doing Bears games, especially when that defense was growling. You still think that's a big part of the Bears' mystique, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's Bear football. I mean, I grew up with it as a fan of it, and then coached against it, and then broadcasted for so many years, and you know, you get caught up in the quarterback today, and that's important, you know, and you need a good quarterback, and you know, Jay Cutler. I mean, the Bears have one, but it's still, when I think of the Bears, I mean, they're going to be good when they have great defense, dominant defense, a strong, tough offensive line, and a good running game. You know, and then this other stuff, to me, is just, you know, frosting on the cake. I mean, that'll come. Don't put that first. If that's the last piece, if the first piece is great defense, good running game with a good offensive line, and then that passing piece, that'll come. That's easy.
The 30 over crowd. How do you feel about those guys now? The Urlachers, the Briggs, the Peppers, the Charles Tillmans. These are unique athletes. Yeah. They hear about this almost every day, that, hey, the window's closing, their time performing at a high level. All those guys were named to the Pro Bowl last year. So What do you say to people who talk about 30-plus old players?
Well, you know, I mean, the way they practice, the way they take care of their bodies, the way they, you know, they eat and everything, they can play for a long time, and the great ones do. And now I know what you're saying is, you know, they have that term now as a window closing or has a window closed on them, and I don't think so. I mean, it's still, you know, we put so much on the Super Bowl. You know, and winning the Super Bowl, how many rings do you have? And that's good, but you got a regular season game every week, and that's big, you know, to play in those games.
Very tough to win.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to win. It's hard to get in the playoffs. It's hard to win playoff games. It's hard to win championship games. It's hard to win Super Bowls, and a lot of people that don't win the Super Bowl are still had great teams and had great years as players, and that's what I think those guys have to, you know, they know that. I'm not telling them anything because I have too much respect to them to even try to, but they know that you just play as well as you can all year, and if it's going to happen, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Training Camp Central is brought to you by Toyota.